Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are finding some warm weather here on this cold afternoon in Edinboro, Pennsylvania. I welcome you all to the Macomb Fieldhouse here in Edinboro as we have some PSAC West basketball for you as your California Vulcans are traveling up here to take on the Edinboro Fighting Scots. My name is Jonathan Sape. Alongside me here today is my great buddy, Mr. Nate Kurtz. Nate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, John. It was a bit of a long ride, lasted a bit long up here, and the weather certainly has not helped. But I'm feeling good. We had a close women's game earlier, and especially after that loss at Clarion on Wednesday, I'm excited to see what the men's team come out and do today.
Absolutely. As we take a look at the screen there, we have the last game from both teams. Obviously, the Vulcans falling short just a couple of days ago to the Golden Eagles of Clarion, and a very tough one, 95-85 loss. And then for the Edinboro Fighting Scots, they fell once again, this time to Mercyhurst, 81-67. So both teams looking to get themselves back into the win column here.
Yeah, looking at those two games specifically, you see the game against Mercyhurst for the Edinboro Fighting Scots. I mean, that was predictably going to be a win for Mercyhurst, one of the best teams in the conference. And you look at that game between Clarion and California, going into that, you're thinking Cal's going to wipe the floor. Obviously, if you watch that game on Wednesday, it was very much not the case. Clarion put on a heck of a show, and it looked almost concerning for the majority of the game. California did come back with a great second-half run, though. Got within, I believe, 6 points at one time. I don't know how, I don't remember. We were on that call, too. But I'm excited to see what Coach Sankum comes out with this team. I mean, you gotta hope that they put a lot of more effort, a lot of more reps in after that loss.
Yeah, it just goes to show you there are no free wins in the PSAC. We do have some starting lineups for you for the Fighting Scots. It'll be Naeem Miller, number 3, Jack Gallagher, number 5, Dominique Keys, number 14, Kyrell Green, number 22, and number 30, Jaden Harper. And then for your California Vulcans, it'll be Jermaine Hall Jr., number 0, Cam Polak, number 1, KJ McClurg, number 5, Keith Palak III, number 11, and then DJ Slaughter, number 15. Your Vulcans will be wearing all black. The Fighting Scots will be wearing the white and red. Vulcans going from right to left to start the first half. The Fighting Scots going from left to right. Hall in the center circle here for Cal. The jump ball going to be won by Kyrell Green, and we're going to get underway here in the Macomb Fieldhouse. Miller starting things out here for the Fighting Scots. That's going to be Gallagher on the near side. It's back up top to Miller. Miller penetrating drive shot with the right hand won't go. Ball going to be tipped out of bounds. Going to come off of Vulcan, I believe. KJ McClurg, the last one to touch that. Looks like the Fighting Scots going to get the ball back.
Yeah, good start to the game. One player you want to keep your eye out on for your Edinboro Fighting Scots. You want to keep an eye on Kyrell Green, number 22. Last outing these two played, he had a heck of a game. I remember watching that one. He scored from 3, was in the paint. He's a menace, and for Cal, you have to keep an eye on him.
The Vulcans need to keep him in check as Harper pulls up from 3. That one no good. McClurg pulls in the board, and the Vulcans are going to get their first offensive possession here of the game. Slaughter crosses the timeline, gets it over to Polak on the far side. Polak takes the screen from Palak. 3 ball from Polak. Shooter's roll almost goes out of bounds, brought back in by the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, normally that's his shot. We all know Cam Pollock's a shooter on the team. He does this beautiful little itch there, shakes the defender off and able to create his own space. Nice
turnaround jump shot that time by Jack Gallagher. He gets the scoring going here in the Macomb Fieldhouse. 2-0 your score, just under 19 to play. Palak with the pump fake, thought about taking the shot, decided to not take it. Cross-court pass to find Hall in the corner for 3, and that one off the mark, but Polak able to get the offensive board. Slaughter looking for some help, and just him and Hall there were just not on the same page. Hall went in for the drive, and Slaughter threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, that's a frustrating play. I mean, you can't be angry at each other because you both had good intentions, and DJ not able to read that, even though he does have that great playmaking ability, as we all know.
2-0, 18:35 here in the first half to play. Harper on the drive. His pass tipped out of play by KJ McClurg, trying to find Naeem Miller in the corner. Edinboro going to inbound the ball just underneath the basket. It's going to be Gallagher, the one to get us back underway once again.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on number 5 for your Vulcans. KJ McClurg, last outing against Clarion, fouled himself out even though he had a heck of a game. And you're hoping maybe he can come back here and rebound and have himself another offensive game.
Harper on the drive once again, and he gets that shot to go. 4-0 to start the game here for the Fighting Scots. Can the Vulcans answer back? McClurg able to get it back out to Palak, who pulls up from 3. Palak's three-point shot, no good. Green pulls in the board, and the Fighting Scots are going to go quickly the other way. Gallagher able to get inside, ran into a bit of a wall, pass out to Green. Green gets it over to Miller in the corner. Right-handed hook shot from Miller, no good. Foul called on the floor, and that one's going to be a charge against Miller and the Fighting Scots, the first of the game.
Yeah, good spacing so far. The Edinboro Fighting Scots, you see they're able to penetrate that defense, and they're easily able to kick it back out. For Cal, you can't allow that spacing, and you need to really tighten up on your switches.
Into the game for the Vulcans will be number 13, Donald Whitehead Jr., the redshirted freshman out of Hermitage, Pennsylvania, coming into the game for the first time today, and we're going to see plenty of him. To the bench will be Cam Polak for your Vulcans as we're underway once again. It's going to be Whitehead with the ball, takes the screen from Hall, mid-range jumper from the Don, shot no good, pulled in by Green.
Yeah, Donald Whitehead's the offensive playmaker and is the offensive shooter. He'll take those open mid-range shots, and usually he makes them, and hoping to see that he makes that over the game. You see a travel call here against the Edinboro Fighting Scots.
And Gallagher ran into the wall, who is DJ Slaughter, and just lost his dribble. Took one too many steps, so sloppy start to the game for both teams. 17:30 left to play here in the first half. 4-0 your score. The Vulcans trail, looking to get their first basket of the game. Hall on the near side, dumps it down into the post to Palak. Palak going to work. His shot no good. Green going the other way for Edinboro. Pulls up from 3 in transition and knocks it down. 7-0 start here for Edinboro.
And that's what I told you about Kyrell Green. I told you he can hit that 3, and as you see, he just pulls it up from the center court, switches it in. If you're California, you need to try and create more open looks within the paint. You see a turnover on the side of the Vulcans. Fast break going for the Scots.
It's going to be Miller, deep 3 from Miller. That was ambitious, but you can't blame him for that one. California need to get a basket here, just try to break off, just try to break into this game here, shake the rust off from Wednesday. McClurg, crossover move, right-handed floater, gets it to go. And like you talked about, KJ McClurg had a nice game, gets the first basket here for Cal.
Yeah, the Division II Luka Doncic, as I like to call him. KJ McClurg's an all-around player. He has that effort on defense. He has that offensive playmaking and scoring, and he has that rebounding ability that not many forwards have.
KJ McClurg for 3 in transition, shot won't go, and Green pulls in the board.
And that's what I call a caster curse.
Yeah, just like you said, you're hyping him up, and he cannot knock down the shot, unfortunately, for KJ, as Green drives into the lane. Shot won't go, but going to get fouled on his way up. And that will send number 22, Kyrell Green, to the line to shoot 2.
And that's the length of Green, the 6'8" forward here. He's just able to move his body around. He's able to push himself in such a certain way that he's going to be able to draw that foul every time he drives into the paint, especially from this lackluster defense that all year long has shown to be less in the pack in the PSAC.
Cam Polak comes back in. DJ Slaughter to the bench. Green knocks down the first shot. Like you said, the 6'8" grad student from D.C. who went to Idea Public Charter High School, able to knock down the first shot. Misses the second. There's going to be a whistle blown off the ball.
Somebody might have had a paint violation there, might have jumped too early.
Yeah, looks like that's exactly what it's going to be. So Kyrell Green will have a second chance at knocking down this free throw. And he does exactly that. 9-2 your score. 16:05 left to play here in the first half. 5 points already for Green. Can the Vulcans cut into that deficit? McClurg on the drive. Nice hesitation move from KJ McClurg, and able to get himself to the basket once again.
That was some great motion on the play. You're seeing the motion between Jermaine Hall Jr., KJ McClurg, and Cam Polak, moving that ball around and making the defense work for a stop.
Miller driving inside, able to get it off to Gallagher. Gallagher cut off by Whitehead, and now nice mid-range jumper from Miller, wide open, gets it to go.
Yeah, that was just a good screen on the side of the Scots, so you're able to make that space, and it's an easy bucket for Green.
Whitehead here for California, able to find McClurg on the near side for 3, and KJ McClurg, 7 points for him, has all of the Vulcans' points and cuts the lead down to 4.
Yeah, Division II Luka Doncic does it again. What can I say?
Gallagher looking for some help, finds Green, who shoots a deep 3. That one won't go. The Vulcans have a chance to push the tempo. Nice no-look pass from Polak. McClurg works inside, able to find Hall. One extra pass to Whitehead, Palak. Now Polak in the corner for 3. That one off the mark. Good ball movement from the Vulcans.
Yeah, that's 2 missed threes for Polak already. Usually he's going to knock those down, shooting the highest 3 percentage on the team. I believe tied with Jermaine Hall Jr. And quick transition play.
Gallagher with the basket on one end. Now on the other end, Polak going to get called for the travel as he fell down as he was trying to spin his way into the paint, and that'll lead us to our first media timeout. 14:44 on the clock. Your score, California 7, Edinboro 13. While we have a second, while we go into this media timeout, we can take a look at the tail of the tape coming into this game from both teams.
I think we can we?
Oh, we will.
We will?
There it is right there.
There it is. There we go. So, one of the things you have to look out for this game, as I mentioned, KJ McClurg, he had a good game against Clarion. Of course, he fouls out in a last-minute call at half court. Called the charge, could have been blocking. As we said on that call, it could have gone either way. I mean, that's always such a hard foul to call. But KJ McClurg is definitely going to be your big playmaker here. He's going to be, in my opinion, the one who changed the tide of this game. And I'm excited to see what Keith Palak is able to do again. As he had a rough night, but for Keith Palak, a rough night is 21 points.
It didn't start off great in the night for Pelican. I mean, it didn't really start off great for any of the Vulcans in that game against Clarion. But like we talked about, they showed a lot of fight in that game. They're down by almost 30 points at a time or two in that game. And like you talked about, they cut it down to a 6-point game. So it was right there. The Vulcans had it in their grasp going down the stretch, but they just couldn't quite take that opportunity.
And that's what a young team's going to do. I mean, this California Vulcan team, very young. Donald Whitehead Jr., the freshman. KJ McClurg, the freshman. Jermaine Hall Jr., probably the oldest on this team, aside from the non-playing Zion Collins as a redshirted junior. And you got Cam Polak and Keith Palak, both sophomores. And very young team, showing some inexperience within their play, but hoping they grow more together.
Keys in the paint. He would get a little bit of space and a nice left-hand hook. Gets that one to go. That's his first basket. 15 points now here for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, that's down 8 points already with 5 minutes in the game. And California's letting up easy paint buckets that they should not be letting up.
Palak, nice jab set, finds Hall. Hall mid-range jumper gets that one to go, and it's going to be important for Cal to get Jermaine Hall going early, as he didn't really have as much of an impact as you would like in that Clarion game, but able to get his first basket here.
Yeah, well, Jermaine Hall Jr., as we always mention, is the heart and soul of this team. He's always going to be giving you that energy, beating the drums, clapping loud, and he has such a clean and smooth shot, and he's just such a key impact player for this team.
Speaking of Hall, he dumps it down low to Palak. His shot goes off the glass, no good.
Interesting pass there, slammed it off the ground as a bounce pass.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe something a little bit more after the play, but it just ends up in a nice pass. And the Fighting Scots are going to get us underway once again. Harper, nice step back move. Hop step, loses his dribble, passes it back out to Gallagher. 10 seconds on the shot clock here for the Fighting Scots. Gallagher, mid-range jumper contested in the face of Palak, can't get it to go. Polak going the other way, nice pass to find Hall in transition for three, and Jermaine Hall cuts it to three.
Yeah, no look pass from Polak to Jermaine Hall Jr., and he's been one of the big stories this year. He didn't play at all last year with that amazing tournament team with Philip Alston and Coach Boswell now, but he's come back this year, and he's definitely proven his dominance within the team.
Shot no good from Green, gets his own rebound and able to knock down the second chance basket. 7 points for him already, brings the lead back to 5. Whitehead pulls up for 3, and the Dawn knocks it down. 2-point game with 12:45 left to play here in the first.
As I get a bit of a shake from my head, I brought my own fan-made Dawn sign. I love Donald Whitehead Jr. He's a shooter. He's going to shoot that shot. He's going to make it no matter what. Even if sometimes those shot choices are questionable, he's still a shooter.
And Keys throws it down after a couple of extra passes, forces the Vulcans to double team down low, but Keys left wide open underneath and brings the lead back to 4.
Yeah, Keys, Jam City, they're slamming it down. Great power dunk.
Hall once again for 3, and this is a scary sight for the Fighting Scots because we saw what Jermaine Hall Jr. can do when he gets hot, especially in that game against Gannett. He cut the lead now down to 1 with 12 to play.
Yeah, if there's one player you don't want to get mad and playing well, it's Jermaine Hall Jr.
Green. And to get it over to Gallagher. Now Green takes the pass once again, working against Hall. Finds Harper on the far side. Floater from Harper. Beautiful shot from him. 21 here for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, clean throw over there. Keith Palak does everything he can. His lengthy 6'8" frame able to get in the way. It's a Polak shot, and he misses that. That's another missed 3 for Polak in the game.
A nice look, but just couldn't get it to knock down. Just under 11 and a half to play in the first. 21-18 your score. Miller crosses himself up and dribbles it off his own foot. So the Vulcans are going the other way. Nice pass from Hall to find Polak in transition. Can't get the layup to go. And the fight for the board's going to end up going out of bounds off of the Vulcans. Unfortunate as they could not convert. And that'll send us to another media timeout.
It's another missed shot from Polak. That's a bit worrying. Usually he's an offensive player. He's slowly but surely put himself up on the team, I believe, if I remember correctly looking at my stat page. Yes, he is third in the team, averaging points of 13.7, and you don't want this man to get cold here, and he could be a key playmaker and a key factor in a game like this.
And while we have a second, we take a look at the team leaders here from your California Vulcans.
Yeah, obviously Keith Powell going to be leading in points. He's been the main staple of this team, the main leader. Jermaine Hall Jr. coming in with rebounds at 7.3. Keith Powell, I believe, leading in assists there with 57, as he usually throws the ball out in the paint. And KJ McClurg leading with 34 steals. And if I remember, and if I see that correctly, that looks like that is free throw percentage, and that's, I believe, KJ McClurg. I cannot read that correctly, so if I had that wrong, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe the last stat is, I believe it's minutes per game, and I'm not sure. And I think KJ and Keith both average 34.8 minutes per game, so that's a heck of a lot of minutes.
Hey, text is too small. I can't read it from over here.
Hey, it's all right. I don't blame you. Like I said, I tried to look over there as well, and it's good luck trying to read that from where we're standing. But we're going to come out of this media timeout. The Vulcans down by 3. Looks like there's going to make a substitution as well. Caden Hanna will come into the game, the 6'4" sophomore out of Murraysville, Pennsylvania. Went to Franklin Regional High School. And there's a couple of Franklin Regional High School members in this game, I believe, as well as Logan Summerhill, number 10, for the Fighting Scots, also from Franklin Regional. They're both sophomores, so they both were on that same team together. There you go.
Caden Hanna, I mean, he's the guy who usually comes off the bench. He's what we describe as the 7th man here, as Donald Whitehead and DJ normally go back and forth for that starting, or mostly playing point but guard position. And Caden Hanna, solid defensive player, able to get defensive play in.
Foul blown, and it's going to be on the court, waved off. I think this one will go against number 5, KJ McClurg. That's going to be his first and the team's second. Now stop the clock, 11:01 to play here in the first half.
And that worries me already. You don't want to see KJ getting these early fouls in, and it's something that's definitely shell-shocked me after that Clarion game where he fouls out right in that key moment near the end.
Jermaine nearly steals the inbound pass. Gallagher gets it over to Green. Another deep 3 from him, and I mean, why not? Knocks it down. 10 points for him and 24 for the Fighting Scots.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call a heat check right there.
Palik to respond. Can't do so. Shot no good. Gallagher pulls in the board. And the Fighting Scots going quickly the other way. Gallagher trying to go baseline. Decides to post up against Whitehead. Loses his dribble. Has to pass it out. Able to find Miller on the far side. Miller on the drive. Gonna charge. Good job by Caden Hanna to get in front.
Yeah, that's a really smart play there. And as I mentioned, he's the defensive player for this team. He comes in, takes minutes. Usually when Jermaine or Keith go down in foul trouble. And I can beat a dead horse, but yeah, he's the defensive anchor in the paint. He's a solid off-bench scorer when you need him to be, and it's good to have him in the game.
And a good job by him to give the Vulcans another possession here. 10-20 left to play in the first half. The Vulcans trailing by 6. And this man has been the one to answer so far for the Vulcans. Palik gets it back up the top to Whitehead. Nice drive. Now it's Hanna in the near side corner. Able to find Whitehead. Now Hall. Jermaine Hall for 3. That one way off its mark. Gallagher now for the Fighting Scots. Gets it up top to Green. Green, I mean, why not? Heat check time. You talked about it. 13 for him. And this is, I mean, I'm having PTSD flashbacks to Gerald Jarman on Wednesday. Whitehead on the drive. Going to get fouled on his way up, so Donald Whitehead Jr. will head to the line to shoot 2 to try to cut the lead down to 7.
Yeah, Gerald Garman had that amazing game. 29 points, almost matched his season high at 31. And we really don't want to see that again, because I can recall very specifically that we were shell-shocked ourselves at that. And had to try and make up some nice things to say.
It's definitely not a good sign so far, as Whitehead at the line. Knocks down the first.
Sorry, I had to hold up my fan-made Donald Whitehead Jr. number 13 sign.
Substitution for the Fighting Scots. Into the game will be number 24, Rashawn Barron, 6'6" junior out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Went to Fort and Fort Carson High School. As Whitehead knocks down the second free throw, makes it a 7-point game, 27-20, 9:38 left to play here in the first half.
Yeah, shout out Colorado, Littleton, Colorado. Our friend JJ come all the way out from Colorado here to Cal U, and big shout out to him.
And shout out to Mountain State. The pass nearly goes away, but a nice finish right on time. Barron, who just checked into the game, gets his first basket. 9-point lead restored for the Fighting Scots. Whitehead on the drive, and thought maybe he was going to get the layup to fall down, but can't. So it's going to be Whitehead once again heading back to the line.
Yeah, along with his mid-range ability, Donald Whitehead has this very keen special ability to just thrive himself in the paint and get those fouls in, because, I mean, he's not the tallest player. He's 5'11". He's usually the shortest on the court, so he's going to get those big bodies coming against him, and he's usually going to draw that foul in the paint and get himself some easy points.
Able to knock down the first free throw. Substitution made for your California Vulcans is DJ Slaughter. Will check back into the game. To the bench will be Caden Hanna. Whitehead second attempt at the line, and he knocks it down. 7 points for him already, 22 for Cal, but they trail by 7. 9:13 left to play in the first half. 29-22 your score. Vulcans looking for a stop here. Green gets it off to Gallagher. Gallagher, nice crossover moves, trying to get himself into the paint. Dumps it off to Barron. Barron's shot no good. And the Vulcans going quickly. Nice pass from Hall. And McClurg on the other end finishes, plus the foul. KJ McClurg a little bit slow to get up, but has a chance to go to the line to convert the three-point play.
Yeah, KJ McClurg is going to do that. I mean, it's going all the way back to the first game of the year at West Lib, Wheeling at West Lib. KJ all year has done this very, very genius move where he just expands himself as much as he can when he throws a layup in, and he always draws a foul from it. And it's quite impressive, really. KJ McClurg, offensive player for this team. That's up to 10 points for him already in the first half.
He makes the free throw, cuts the lead down to 4 here for the Fighting Scots. It's going to be Spriggs, who just checked in the game for Edinboro. Green loses control of it. 3-on-2 the other way. Whitehead able to find Slaughter. Slaughter's shot no good. Hall, second chance shot no good. But on the third attempt, as he was pulling down the rebound, will get fouled. It's going to be Jermaine Hall Jr. going to the line. And I mean, a couple trips back to the line for the Vulcans. This is exactly what you need to get back in the game.
I mean, yeah, you're going to get free fouls and gonna push them into the bonus. And Jermaine Hall Jr. almost had me on my feet, and he has this very special and keen ability to see the ball and see that rebound and where it's going to go, and he'll drive the net and he'll throw it right down, and that man brings a lot of energy to the court, and you can tell just by his play.
And the Vulcans so far doing a great job in that transition game, and a lot of it has to do with Hall as he knocks down his first free throw.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they struggled with against Clarion, was that they couldn't keep converting these fast break points, which is such an important part of the game, especially when you can get those steals in, which KJ McClurg, if I remember correctly, had 3 steals in the game. You're not able to convert off those turnovers, and it's going to hurt you.
Hall's second free throw is good. Just like that, it's a 2-point game, and the Vulcans have a chance to get right back into it. Offensive foul called. This time going to go against number 24, Rashawn Barron, for the moving screen. He's going to come out of the game, back into the game, will be Keys. It was a 9-point game, a minute ago, and now it's back down to a 2-point game.
That's what happens with fouls. Fouls are going to get you free points. I mean, it's a free throw at the hoop, so looks like it's going to get called back. Referee might have not liked that, or they were adjusting the clock. And if I take a quick look at my clipboard here, Edinboro is riding a 4-game losing streak right now, and as we mentioned when we were calling the game against Clarion, nothing's worse than going up against a team that's hungry for a win.
Whitehead pulls up from 3, and just like that, the Vulcans have the lead, 30-29. 10 points for him, 10 points for McClurg, 10 points for Hall. So all 30 points coming from 3 players. The Vulcans get the lead right back. Gallagher gets it out to Keys. Keys pulls up from 3. That one too strong. Palick able to corral the board. Going to get pushed in the back by Keys. And that's going to be the 7th foul, so it looks like Keith Palick is going to go to the line to shoot 1-1 after we have this media timeout.
Yeah, one of the concerning things to me is if looking at the scoreboard, you see that Keith Palick has 0 points already, almost 14 minutes into the game, if my math is correct, which probably isn't. And it's quite concerning if you ask me.
And while we have a second, we can take a look at the Edinboro team leaders from this season. It's going to be Miller leading in points at 16 per game. Keys getting over 10 boards, 10.2 to be exact. Gallagher leading in assists and steals, and Miller leading in minutes per game for the Fighting Scots. And like I said, the Vulcans have 30 points, and there's 3 players with 10 in Hall, McClurg, and Whitehead. So they're kind of spreading the love around, getting people involved, but it seems like with the 6 or 7 that have been in the game, only 3 have scored.
I mean, it testifies to that second in the PSAC in total offense. This team is very raw within the scoring department. I mean, on any given night, one of these players can easily drop 25 to 30 points, and I can confidently say that. So you face up against this team, you're facing up against a dangerous offensive opponent that could explode at any point.
Absolutely, and I mean, it is a scary sight to see if you're the Fighting Scots, where there's 30 points scored in the game, and none of them have come from Keith Palak, who, like you talked about, leads the Vulcans in scoring for a reason. He's automatic, can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He will have his chance to get himself on the score sheet here, as he's going to go to the line to shoot 1-1.
Yeah, Keith Palak shooting 77% this year from the line, and second on the team out of total attempts. And Keith Palak, he's a solid shooter for his size. Normally we know that when you're above the size of 6'7", 6'8", you're not known to be more of a shooter. But Keith Palak, he puts that to rest. He's able to put himself smartly in the paint, make plays, and he's able to make that 3. But, you know, tonight he hasn't dropped one.
Finally gets himself a point in this game. Call it 2, as the Vulcans now have a 3-point lead after trailing for a large chunk of this one. 7:50 left to play here in the first half. The Vulcans looking to maintain that lead. Harper at the top of the key, passes it off to Miller. Only 2 points in the game for Miller, as he has a nice dribble drive. His mid-range jumper no good. Keys, a second chance shot, won't go, but going to get fouled on his way up, nearly able to finish that one. And so it's going to be Dominique Keys at the line to shoot 2.
And that's against Keith Palak. I thought he had a bit of a clean block there for a second, but you know, all the way up here, I'm not able to get that clean of an angle, and the referee's going to call that for a shooting foul. And Keith Palak, that's another guy you don't want to foul out, especially as he's the big man on this team. I mean, this is a relatively small team, all things considered. We don't have somebody else on the California Vulcans who matches his size other than maybe Gabe Jimerson, and you need to keep him in, especially in these close, tight games.
Keys makes both, makes it a 1-point game. Shout out Homestead, Pennsylvania, Steel Valley alumni Dominic Keys. So him and Cam Polak, former teammates but now sworn enemies, as they're facing off here in this one, as Whitehead takes a double screen up top. Under some pressure, able to get it out to Palak. Palak on the drive. Shot won't go, but blocking a foul underneath the basket. You can see the Edinboro bench upset because they wanted the charge call, but they won't get it. Keith Palak will go to the line once again.
I think it's as we talked about earlier. I think that could have gone either way. I mean, blocking and charging calls are always so hard to debate because it always comes down to that 0.1, 0.2 millimeter of a second on what to call it. And I think Keith Palak was able to extend himself enough, and the defender wasn't able to put himself out there quick enough, and it's an easy trip to the free throw line.
Palak knocks down the first one, and like you talked about, it's just such a bang-bang play. You cannot, it's so hard to judge in that moment. But a substitution made from the Fighting Scots, number 11, Easton Fulmer, the 6'1" freshman guard out of Franklin, Pennsylvania, comes into the game as Palak knocks down both, now has 4 points, and the Vulcans have a 3-point lead, 34-31, 7:09 left to play here in the first half. Miller takes the screen from Keys, now gets switched on to Palak. Nice drive and a nice pass to Green in the corner for 3, and that one unable to find its mark. Miller, gets the offensive board, finds Fulmer for 3. His shot won't go, but another offensive rebound from the Fighting Scots. They're going to pass it out and try to reset. It's going to be Spriggs driving. Nice pass inside and a beautiful finish from Dominique Keys. Just like that, a 1-point game.
Yeah, the Scots got the exact switch that they wanted. You know, the stark difference between Donald Whitehead, the 5'11", and the Keith Palak, the 6'8" there, and you see they get that exact switch they want, and the size difference, easily able to score.
Jermaine Hall for 3 once again, and had some words to say for the Edinboro bench on his way back. 13 points for him, and the 4-point lead restored here for Cal. Spriggs looking to answer back, can't do so. McClurg pulls in the board, and chance now for the Vulcans to extend the lead. Hall wanted it down the court, but able to find Palak on the near side. His 3-point shot won't go.
It's another shot for Palick that's not landing. He's gotten those free throws in, but obviously he's got to be mad at himself. He's not getting anything from the field.
5:50 left to play here in the first half. Whitehead nearly steals the handoff attempt between Miller and Spriggs, but that one's going to go out of bounds. Good work by him to just break that one up.
And as we mentioned, Donald Whitehead, very short, but he has such a high defensive motor, and he's able to always throw himself in there, and he's always able to get himself in on the defensive action.
Spriggs is trying to lose Whitehead in the mix. Can't do so. Miller on the drive. Nice move from Miller, and a reverse layup attempt won't go as he hits the underside of the basket. But Miller is fouled and will head to the line. That foul going to go against KJ McClurg. That'll be his second. Like you talked about, it's not a sight that you want to see if you're a Vulcan fan, as McClurg kind of in some foul trouble early. Miller knocks down the first, and looks like the Vulcans going to take the precautionary measures here. Take KJ McClurg to the bench and into the game. Once again will be Cam Polak.
Yeah, Cam hasn't had the best of game, but I think it's very smart preserving KJ. I mean, normally he plays a lot of minutes on the court. He almost never comes off, and you want to keep him fresh and keep him steady, as he's like Donald Whitehead in the sense that he has such a high defensive motor, and while this may not be the strongest defensive team, he's always going to be mixed up in the action.
Miller makes both, cuts the lead down to 2 here for Cal, just under 5.5 to play. Hall on the near side from 3. And I mean, that would have been a scary sight to see if he knocks that one down if you're a Fighting Scots fan. But they can finally just have a chance to breathe here, looking to either tie things up or take the lead. Miller on the drive. Shot's going to get waved off, and he's going to get called for traveling. Thought maybe a little bit unlucky not to get the whistle blown his way as he drawed a little bit of contact. But now the Vulcans going quickly. Whitehead trying to find Polak on the far side, but great awareness by Fulmer pokes that one out of play.
And it's on the last offensive possession for the Scots. It was a beautiful screen there on the side of number 22, Keyrell Green. He's able to quickly throw himself in there, and DJ Slaughter gets completely lost and opens up a great scoring opportunity on the offensive side for Neil Miller.
Whitehead nearly loses control of it, but Hall able to keep it under control. Slaughter gets it to Polak. Polak, nice crossover move. A good pass to find Slaughter. One more extra pass to find Hall underneath, but Palick right there to tip it in. Great movement from this Vulcan team, and a 4-point lead once again.
Yeah, Eric Keith able to get up there, tap it right back in. Smart and intelligent play by him, and we always talk about it. He's one of the smartest players on the court, no matter what game you'll go to. He's just so smart when it comes to his switches, his offensive playmaking, his defensive switches, and he's just a great player. What can I say?
Fulmer on the drive, going to get the call, plus the basket. So Easton Fulmer going to go to the line to cut the lead to 1. I mean, great drive by him.
Yeah, it's going to be the first foul of the game for Cam Polak. Sitting at no points so far this game, as you see, averaging 13 on the year. It's not something you want to see, and as we mentioned earlier, a lot of the scorings come from the 3 big ones, and Jermaine Hall Jr., Donald Whitehead, and KJ McClurg, and KJ already out.
Fulmer able to convert, lead back down to 2 here for the Vulcans. Whitehead up top. Nice drive inside. Tough shot. Can't get it to go, but able to follow up and get the rebound. Whitehead gets it back out to Hall for 3. And Jermaine Hall call it. 42-38. 16 for Jermaine Hall Jr. with 4 to play.
I mean, there's nothing else I could say other than watch out. Jermaine Hall Jr., a threat in the paint and a threat on the perimeter, leading the team in the three-point percentage category. I mean, he's dangerous from the arc. He's dangerous from anywhere in the paint.
Gallagher shot no good. It's going to be whistle blown underneath as a foul on the floor is called. This one's going to go against the Fighting Scots. And after this media timeout, it's going to be the Vulcans going to the line to shoot 2.
As you look at the screen here, we're going to take a look back at the standings. Things definitely shaken up a bit after that clearing game for the Vulcans. They still hold that 6th seed with IUP, the #1 team in the nation, still holding the #1 spot, followed by Mercyhurst and University of Pitts Johnstown. Following them, Slippery Rock and Seton Hill. As I mentioned, California holding that 6th seed in the final playoff spot. Right under them is Edinboro. This is such an important matchup. And following them, of course, is Gannon and Clarion. And that was such an important matchup against Clarion because if you win that game, you put yourself in steady standing, especially because Edinboro lost their game against Mercyhurst. That gets you in good playoff spot and good standing and good confidence. And you lose against Clarion, and some of that motivation and energy just starts to fade, especially because that's an opponent that, as a Vulcan, you know you should win against.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was also an important game for California is, like we talked about, they do have a 3-game lead over Edinboro for that final playoff spot. So a comfortable but not secure lead. They needed to get that win against Clarion, but the Vulcans' next 2 opponents are the 2 teams ahead of them in the standings. They'll play Slippery Rock and Seton Hill next week, and then on the weekend will be Mercyhurst. So 3 big games this weekend, 2 teams right above them in the conference standings. So the Vulcans want to try to move up the PSAC West standings. They're going to have to start with a win here.
That's why I mentioned it was such an important game against Clarion. I mean, the rest of their schedule is going to be looking very tough as they have to face UPJ, they have to face IUP again, they face Slip, face Hearst. It's just not an easy schedule for them, and you needed to beat an opponent like Clarion. And if you're California, you need to win this game. And so far, it's looking good for them, but anything can go until that last buzzer.
Pallet gets the first free throw. There go. That foul, that last foul before the break went against number 14, Dominique Keys. That would be his second. Palak now has 7 points as he misses the second free throw. 43-38 your score, 3:45 left to play here in the first half.
As we saw, Keith Palak had a bit of a scoring drought early on, and he's able to get to the free throw line, drawing those fouls out and scoring 7 points for the team. As we mentioned, the spreading was really just put onto 3 different people. It's the easy-made jump there by Karug, and Keith Palak so far had a bit of a rough showing, and as I mentioned, that free throw line has been great for him, and it spread that scoring out a bit more.
Vulcans looking to respond after that made basket by Green. Palak finds Whitehead for 3, and that one's going to end up a little short, but Slaughter right underneath to get it, but can't get it to go. Maybe some contact, nothing called. And the Fighting Scots going the other way once again. Miller slowing things down, going to take the screen from Keys. Miller works inside, loses control, but able to pass it off to Keys, and Keys slams it home and brings the lead down to 1 here for Cal.
And again, it's the defensive switches and it's the smart screens by the Edinboro Fighting Scots. I mean, DJ Slaughter's not able to keep up, and Keith Palak can only do so much. And number 14 for the Fighting Scots, Dominique Keys, just throws it down with a Jam City special, and you can't let that motivation go to the Scots.
You can see Coach Cleary there for the Fighting Scots, not happy about that call, but Slaughter takes an arm to his upper body. Going to get called for the foul, or the Fighting Scots. That one's going to go against number 11, Easton Fulmer, and that will send DJ Slaughter to the line to shoot 2, as the Vulcans are now in the double bonus.
And that's something that, for Edinboro, you really don't want, because, I mean, as we mentioned, this is such an important and tightly contested game, and you don't want to give California any open chances.
Slaughter able to convert on the first one, now able to open his scoring ballot here in this game. Makes both, so 2 points for him. 3-point lead restored here for Cal. 2:37 left to play in the first half. The Vulcans, who were down early, been able to claw their way back and take the lead. Can they maintain it going into half? It's another question, as Miller going to take the screen from Green. Gets switched on to Hall. Green underneath. Going to get caught. Foul called on the floor. I think this one going to go against DJ Slaughter for Cal. It looks like the Fighting Scots are going to make a substitution and going to inbound the ball just underneath the basket.
I mean, that's just going to keep happening when you keep switching Green onto Slaughter. I mean, Slaughter's going to have to be forced to get in there more and more. He's going to have to put more of his energy, more of his power in, and he's going to keep getting those fouls if California doesn't tighten up on the defense and get their switches in.
Spriggs comes into the game for the Fighting Scots. And after the nice cross-court pass,
DJ Slaughter's going to get called for the foul there. Coach Sinkham not happy about that, and I don't think there was enough there to call for a foul, but that's going to be 1 for 14 He's.
You know, there was some contact underneath, and that'll be the 7th foul of the half for Cal. So that'll send Dominique Keys to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Able to make the first substitution for the Fighting Scots. Looks like it's going to be waved off, as he's going to be coming in for the free throw shooter. 11 points already in this game for Keys. Has a chance to make it 12. And he does exactly that as he makes the free throw. And after the 2 make free throws, he's going to go to the bench. Into the game will be number 12, Ryan Ladovich, the 6'4" sophomore out of Sharpsville, Pennsylvania, will come into the game with 2:08 left to play. Polak on the far side gets it to Palak in the post. Palak, nice pass to Hall inside. Hall's layup attempt is good, and just like that, the Vulcans with another lead. 18 points in the game for Jermaine Hall Jr. Drive attempt to the pass off to Ladovic. Ladovic looking for some help, gets it out to Green. Green, nice pump fake. A nice pass inside to find Gallagher. And Gallagher with the reverse layup gets it to go.
Yeah, Donald Whitehead tried to pull a double move there and move to the center of the paint. And clearly just all the defensive switches and assignments got mixed up.
Hall gets it to Palick inside. Nice pump move from Palick. And Palick gets Green to jump and able to finish once again.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the smart player Palick is. He's going to be able to bite that. And smart play gets an easy transition turnover.
49-46 your score. Green, nice crossover move, but decides to pass up on the shot attempt. It's going to be Gallagher underneath, gets it up top to Green, who decides to shoot anyway. His three-point shot no good. The Vulcans can rest just under a minute here in the first half. Whitehead finds Polak, gets it back up top to Whitehead, and Coach Sankum screaming to call a timeout because he wanted to just, I mean, you're going to lose it in the half if you don't take it, so just try to get it off, try to stop things, to try to call a good play here for Cal.
Coach Sankum very adamant about that. As we all know, he can be very expressive on the bench sometimes. Gotta love him. And looking at the game so far, I think one of the biggest things for California that you need to work on is getting that ball more to your guys that have been scoring. Getting the ball to Jermaine Hall Jr., obviously 18 points on the night. Giving more plays to Donald Whitehead. I believe that's 10 points on the night for him. And getting KJ McClurg back in the game in the second half. He already has 2 fouls, so that's a bit worrying, but they did the smart thing preserving him, so I don't think you have to worry about it nearly as much. As Vulcans lead here with 3 points with 54.1 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't see any KJ McClurg until we begin the second half. And the Vulcans do exactly that. It's going to be Slaughter, Whitehead, Palick, Polak, and Hall on the court here for your Vulcans. When you get back underway, 54 and counting at the end of the first half. Looks like a switch potentially to a zone, but they're just trying to call a trap here. That's going to be Polak wide open in the corner for 3, and Cam Polak finally gets it to go. And a whistle blown afterwards. I believe that's going to be a timeout called by the Fighting Scots. 39.4 left to go here in the first half. 52-46 your score.
I've been waiting for that all game. Cam Polak finally gets that easy swish in there, and that's what I love about his shot. It just straight arc right in. Bucket barely even moves. And that's nice for Cam Polak, getting him on the board with 39 left.
That's exactly what the Vulcans need. Like you talked about, had a tough stretch of games over the last few ones, especially in that game against against Clarion, where you couldn't really get anything going. And I believe in that UPJ game as well, just couldn't get the shots to go, which is unfortunate because, like we talked about, Cam Polak, one of the better three-point shooters, not only on this team but in the entirety of the PSAC. So just a cold stretch for him has not been great for the Vulcans, but maybe after that made shot, can finally start to get the shot going once again.
Yeah, the transfer from Westchester, he definitely wants to prove himself out here closer to home. And Cam Polak, I got to hope that he makes more of those shots later on in the game.
Miller going baseline, reverse layup attempt won't go. The Vulcans, with the shot clock turned off, are going to hold it for one more shot. Nice job by Hall to just slow things down. And that's exactly what the Vulcans are going to do. Whitehead near the center circle, just going to wind things down 10. I went a little bit too early, 10 seconds left now here in the half. The Vulcans now looking to strike. Whitehead, nice step back jumper from him, won't go. Hall just underneath to try to get the shot to go. Going to get fouled. And with 0.9 seconds left, Jermaine Hall Jr. will go to the line.
You can't be happy if you're the coach of Edinboro, Coach Cleary. With 0.9 left, you draw that foul, and that's another 1 or 2 points that Jermaine Hall Jr. can get, and unfortunate end to the quarter for the Fighting Scots.
The Vulcans, like we talked about, were down early in this game, but have done a great job at storing back and taking control of this game and taking the lead. And Hall has a chance to seal a beautiful first half with that free throw. Knocks down the first one. 7-point lead here for Cal. 19 points for Jermaine Hall Jr. in the first half.
It's a stark contrast to what we saw in the women's game. The student section would absolutely not say, or would not be quiet. And when Jermaine Hall Jr. is taking that shot, you can hear a pin drop. It's absolutely quiet in here.
And that's going to be 20 for him. Caden Hannock comes back in, 0.9 seconds, so let's see what the Fighting Scots can cook up to try to get one last attempt. Keys, did he get it off? Doesn't matter as the shot won't go, and that will be the end of the first half here in the Macomb Fieldhouse. Your score, California 54, Edinboro 46. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, the PSAC Network, and 91.9 FM, the Vulcan Sports Radio Network. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the McCoomb Fieldhouse for the start of the second half between California and Edinboro. The Vulcans emerge from the first half with a 54-46 lead. We do have some halftime stats on your screen. And we also can just talk about what happened in that first half. Nate, what was your thoughts on that first half?
It's a great rebound so far for the Vulcans compared to what we had at Clarion. I mean, both of us were on that game. We know that the first half, very tough. It was a bit hard to watch. Gerald Jarman absolutely went off. And you're noticing definitely in this game they're limiting that perimeter play. Most of the points right now for the Scots are coming from the paint, and the fact that they have those big bodies like Green that are able to get up and get those baskets in. And I think that's really good for them. I mean, limit 2 points instead of 3. I mean, that's just basic math, right?
Yeah, 3 is more than 2. You're absolutely right about that. But, I mean, the Vulcans did start off a little bit slow in that first half. Edinboro had a commanding control of that game for about 5-10 minutes, but as the half went on and on, it's been more and more California basketball, and we can take a look at some player stats as well. In that first half, Jermaine Hall Jr. was doing it all, 20 points for him to go along with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal as well. I mean, he has been phenomenal in this game, and as a team, he shot 4 for 7 for 3, Jermaine did, so that's where a large chunk of the points came from as well. Donald Whitehead Jr. off the bench with 10 points and 2 assists as well. Then you talk about, obviously, KJ McClurg, 10 points for him, 9 for Keith Palak as well to go along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists for him. So Hall and Palak having all-around games from both of them so far.
And as you saw from your screen there a little bit ago, we just had the standings up. And as we mentioned, this is such an important game for your Vulcans. I mean, if they want to hold on to that number 6 seed, they do still have it. And if they lose this game, it's not the end of the world. But to get a commanding lead on there, especially in the team right below you, you want to make sure that this is a win. And especially looking at the Vulcans' upcoming schedule, it doesn't look like it's going to be a real easy it's not going to be a real easy trip for them.
Exactly. The Vulcans will be home for 2 games as they'll face off against Slippy Rock and Seton Hill. But those are the 2 teams right above them, directly above them in the conference. So it's going to be super important for Cal to not only get a win here, to try to build that momentum to go into the next week, but and get back underway. The Vulcans in the second half will be going from left to right. Fighting Scots going from right to left. Slaughter able to get it to McClurg, who, like we talked about, had 2 fouls in that first half, so we didn't see a whole lot of them. KJ McClurg for 3, and I mean, if he didn't have 2 fouls in the first half, we could have seen a lot more of that.
Yeah, I mean, KJ McClurg, it's as we mentioned, all-around offensive player. He's what I call the Division II Luka Doncic because he can do it all. And you see right there, easy pull-up 3 for him.
Double-digit lead for the Vulcans, 57-46. Ball stolen away that time. Slaughter able to get a hand on it. Nice pass to Hall, and Hall able to finish. And just like that, Edinboro going to call a timeout 35 seconds into the half.
You know, the defensive play, you see the defender knocks into the door. I guess he was trying to get out of there after seeing that play from Jermaine. I mean, Jermaine receives that pass from DJ. For a second there, I thought he was going to jam Cydia down, but no, Jermaine Hall just puts it up for the easy 2 points. And you know, you were just talking about momentum, and I think with this team, momentum is such a big thing because this team went into a shootout with IUP and gave up in the second half. This team went into a great matchup against UPJ and a great matchup against Mercyhurst. I think this team easily could be higher in the standings, and especially going to the PSAC tournament with momentum, I think they could easily be a scary young team to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely, and it starts in games like this where you try to build off of the game that you're having so far. And I mean, even Coach Sankum talks about it in the coach's show. You should be able to make sure to check that out. He talks about how the team usually plays pretty well, but they just lack consistency. They lack that. They just lack what forces them to play like this every game, because you see how they play and how they're able to keep up with the big boys, and you sit there and wonder, it's like, man, why don't they play like this all the time? And that goes back to being such a young team and still just trying to grow and learn together.
Yeah, as you just saw the PSAC schedule on the docket, you had a bunch of games on here. You had Seton Hill and Slippery Rock. That's going to be an important one for positioning. Westchester taking on Mansfield. Gannon taking on the undefeated IUP. Shippensburg taking on East Stroudsburg. Bloomsburg against Millersville. Clarion coming off that win against Cal, against Pitts Johnstown. Vulcans here facing off against Edinboro, and Shepherd facing out Lock Haven out east.
Yeah, nice action-packed schedule here on this Saturday afternoon. Harper on the drive, gets it over to Gallagher on the far side. Gallagher going baseline, gets his shot blocked by Slaughter. but going to get fouled in the process. So Jack Gallagher, the 6'2 junior out of Erie, Pennsylvania, so nearby, went to McDowell High School, will go to the line to shoot 2. That's going to be DJ Slaughter's 3rd foul of the game.
Yeah, speaking of blocks, I mean, this is something that the team not really known for this year. 26 blocks total in the season. Keith Palak, the majority of them. Jermaine Hall with 7 and Keith with 12. It's surprising coming from the fact that this is a very the forwards on this team are very large and usually are very good at this, and they're just not able to get their hands in there and get those blocks in. And very surprising for this team.
Gallagher makes both, and Whitehead comes back into the game for Slaughter. Whitehead on the ball, gets it to McClurg. McClurg inside, finds Palak. Palak thought about the 3, decides to drive instead and gets his shot swatted away. We just talked about blocks, and Whitehead tried to save it, but hits it off of Palak's leg and goes out of play.
I mean, Kyrell Green, he brought out the hammer and he slammed it down there on the Forge. The Vulcans had no chance. I mean, beautiful play by Kyrell Green there.
Gallagher looking to cut into the Vulcan lead once again. 11 points between the two, 59-48. Nice pass by Green to find the cutting Miller. And just like that, a 9-point game, just under 18:30 to play.
You know, it's funny. As soon as we got here and we were comfortable in our little hawk's eye view here, I saw that exact play getting run, and I thought that was beautiful because it manipulates the defense so well, and it's going to be a transition play here for the Fighting Scots.
Tough shot from Miller. Can't get it to go. Keys went up for the second chance shot and couldn't get it to go either, but going to get fouled, and that all started with a turnover by Polak on the other end. Kind of just lost control of it, and it led into another chance for the Fighting Scots to crack into this Vulcan lead.
First foul for Donald Whitehead Jr. And you see something very concerning is, again, the foul trouble. This is something that we've seen all year, is that fouls have played such an important factor in every single one of the Vulcans games. And it's something that you would think that over time would just develop into a better sense of discipline. But it's something that, as the season goes on, almost appears to get worse. And with 2 fouls in 2 minutes, not looking good for the Vulcans.
7-point game now, 59-52 your score. California looking to extend their lead with McClurg. Tough mid-range jumper from him. That one a little bit too strong, but Hall underneath to collect. Able to find Palak, pump fake, gets it over to McClurg. Nice pass to find the cutting Palak. A beautiful give and go between the two, and just like that, a 9-point game once again. That's
what you call McClurg magic. They're able to find the open Keith Palak. Nice, easy 2 points for Palak.
Harper from 3. And gets it to go, and going to get fouled as well. Jaden Harper, 7 points now. And you talked about a foul trouble plaguing the Vulcans. 3 fouls now in this first half, and a 4-point play opportunity here for Jaden Harper.
This has not been Cam Polak's night. Usually a steady offensive hand for the Vulcans, just not his game. And he tried to almost do that Luke Cornett defense there, throwing himself as high in the air. But the thing is, when you do that, you're not able to control your body that well. And when the shooter's still in that form there, you're going to draw that foul, and sucks to see.
5-point game now. Caden Hanu just came into the game, lost control of that one. McClurg trying to find him underneath. Gallagher gets that pass stolen away. Great job by McClurg. And KJ McClurg, as easy as he like, does it on one end and able to finish on the other.
Yeah, he leads the team in steals for region. McClurg magic there, easily able to get that bucket. What a man, if I say that the least.
I agree. What a man, KJ McClurg.
Freshman out of Morgantown.
Miller's nice crossover move. Going to get fouled, and you can see KJ McClurg not happy about that one, as him and Miller just kind of had that shifting momentum going towards the back wall. That one's going to go against him, and that's going to be KJ's 3rd. So KJ McClurg and DJ Slaughter, both sitting on 3 fouls in the game.
Now that's a bit concerning because as we've seen a lot of the plays run through the guards, it's such a guard-heavy team with DJ getting so many minutes and KJ almost leading the team in minutes. And it's going to be a real bad sight if you see both of them go out with, 16:54 left in the game.
Miller knocks down the first one. 7 points in the game for him. Used to him scoring a lot more here for the Fighting Scots. And hopefully, if you're a fan of them, he can get some more on the board as he knocks down the second free throw. It's a 5-point game once again. The Vulcans had a 13-point lead at one point in the half already, cut down to 5. Nice pass from Hall to find McClurg. And once again, KJ McClurg finishes. A beautiful cut by him to the basket.
Yeah, when this team is hot, they're hot. It's the ball movement, it's the spacing. This team on the offensive end of the ball is second in the PSAC for a reason, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice Euro step into the lane, and Gallagher's shot goes up, and
Keith Pollock appears to have been thrown down into the ground by an Edinboro player.
it was a tough collision between a couple of players. I thought Gallagher almost came up with the worst end of it because it seemed like Pollock came down on the back of his leg, but Gallagher seems to be fine, and it looks like Pollock back to his feet appears to be okay as well. Hopefully everything's all right with him. And Jack Gallagher once again will go to the line here for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, it's a great thing to see. As we saw on Wednesday at Clarion, DJ Slaughter went down scarily for a little bit there. What it looked like it was an eye injury. He was down on the floor for a while. And it was the same thing at Seton Hill, I believe, where Keith Pollock was down on the floor for a bit, and it looked real scary. And you never want to see that happen to a player, especially when it's such a leader on the team like Keith Pollock the third.
It always looks even worse considering how tall they are because they just look like giants crashing towards the ground. But Pollock seems to be all right. A 5-point game once again as Gallagher knocks down both free throws. Whitehead on the drive. Nice hop step to get into the lane. Hook shot no good. Hannah trying to get that offensive board, but Key's able to corral that one in for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, and if you look at the board, you see the two most impactful players so far in the point section is Dominique Keys and Carell Green, and I think it's because of their length. The 6'7" and the 6'8" forwards able to make their presence known on the defensive and offensive end. As you see, it's an easy bucket there for Keys.
Yeah, right on cue. Keys scores another one, 16 on the afternoon for him, and it's only a 3-point game, 15:45 to play. The Clerk pump fake on the drive. There's going to be some contact on his way inside. It's going to be a foul on Edinboro, number 5, Jack Gallagher, and that will send us into immediate timeout, 65-62. Your score is 15:44 to play. And while we have a minute, we can take and talk about Vulcan Village. If you're a California student and you're looking for a place to stay, the Vulcan Village is the place to be. You can schedule a tour online or go to vulcanvillage.com to either look at one of the virtual tours or to schedule one in person. That is, once again, vulcanvillage.com for more information.
I'm a bit late to that train. I've already gotten my housing paperwork filled out for next semester, so apologies, Vulcan Village. You may see me one day. You may not. Who knows?
Hey, you still got plenty of time. I mean, freshman year, you still got a few more years to have the opportunity to make the jump to Vulcan, you know.
Who knows? Maybe I'll pull a Doug Lackey and I'll be out here in a little bit. Shout out to our good friend Doug.
Yeah, shout out Doug. You could also, when you're in Vulcan, you can maybe live next to Tom.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, he's graduating, so it'd kind of be a little bit weird if he was still there. But there's definitely a possibility. If you go now, if you're in Vulcan Village now, you could live next to the Tom Caton.
You know where you do live next to? Adamson Stadium.
And
Vulcan football.
Home of Vulcan football.
Can't wait to see that next semester in fall 2023.
Yeah, already excited for the football season, but still.
We got a beautiful basketball season ahead here, buddy.
Still plenty of basketball here as well to come in the coming weeks. Softball and baseball will be starting up as well, so we still have a whole slate of sporting events here at California for your viewing pleasure here on CUTV and CUTV Sports 1.
Lucky softball and baseball players get to go down to Columbus, Georgia, and Florida. I got to say, I envy them with the weather being so cold up here.
Yeah, they get the beautiful weather. We're stuck in the freezing cold as Pollock from 3. And talk about freezing cold. Pollock ice cold in his veins. 14 for Keith.
I mean, he's Air Keith for a reason. This man, underrated 3-shooter, and he's such an amazing offensive and defensive player for this team.
Green in the corner for 3 to respond. Can't get it to go. There's going to be a commotion for the rebound. Whitehead, blazing speed down the court. Nice pass to McClurg. Pump fake and gets his shot swatted away by Green. And now the Fighting Scots going the other way. Miller, pump fake to get inside. Takes the contact. Can't get the shot to go.
Looks like they're going to call that a blocking foul. I thought Jermaine Hall Jr. might have had his feet set for enough time, but it looks like not. And it's a great play there.
To the line once again is going to be Naeem Miller for the Fighting Scots. On this season, a 77% free throw shooter. He adds another one to that total. So he knocks down the first one. It'll be 9 points on the afternoon for him, as it looks like the scores table down there trying to adjust for both teams, and it's going to be a missed second shot, but the Fighting Scots able to get the offensive rebound and reset. Harper wide open from 3. Left that one too strong, and Hannah finally pulls in the rebound for Cal.
And if you look at the man who fouled Naeem Miller, Jermaine Hall Jr., 22 points on the night, 14 minutes left here in the second period, and as he goes for another jump shot there, it's going to hit it off the rim.
Hall's shot too strong. Gallagher going the other way, going to just dribble it out, bring things out a little bit just to slow things down for the Fighting Scots. Gallagher gets it over to Harper. Harper trying to find Green in the post, and he does exactly that. Backing down McClurg. Green's turnaround shot no good. McClurg pulls in the board, and Whitehead wants to go quickly here for Cal. Whitehead, nice crossover move, looking for help. Able to find Palak. Palak to McClurg. Pump fake from McClurg. Nice pass underneath to Hannah, but Hannah can't finish at the rim. What an opportunity there for Cal after some beautiful play.
I mean, that was beautiful ball movement there for this Vulcan offense, and Hannah just not able to convert on that end. As we know, he's more of a defensive player, but normally that's a shot that you should be able to make in a game like this.
Miller, nice crossover move, trying to get baseline, but good job by Palak to get in front of him, and Palak gets his arms on it, forces the jump ball, and it looks like maybe exchanges a few words with Naeem Miller underneath the basket.
Nice cold Keith. He's always gonna say something, but he's always gonna back himself up too. As you know, he's gonna be in that pain. He's gonna get you if you're a center. He's gonna get you if you're a guard. No matter where he is on that court, he's gonna back up whatever he says, and he's gonna score points on you.
And then that scuffle underneath. Naeem Miller's gonna pick up his 3rd foul actually. So something to keep an eye out on as this half wanes on, as Whitehead on the far side, able to get underneath, loses control of it, gets it right back. Miller finds Hall. Hall fakes the pass, works inside, trying to find Whitehead in the corner, able to keep it alive. Nice hesitation, dribble move, step back. Whitehead working inside, nearly loses control of it, finds Hannah underneath. Hannah's shot won't go. Need to get a shot off as going to be a shot clock violation. So many times Whitehead looked like he was able to just blow by his defender, but kept losing control of the ball.
I mean, that's the motor. As I mentioned, he doesn't just have a high defensive motor. It's just his motor in general. He's such an energetic player that whenever he's on the court, he's going to run around like almost like a little mouse, in the fact that he's everywhere on the court.
And he's so fast, too.
So fast. I mean, I got nothing against him. Even our track star, J.J. Michael Robinson here on the CTV crew, probably couldn't keep up with Mr. Donald Whitehead Jr. here, as we call him, the Don.
And that's why you have that switch between him and Slaughter. Slaughter, over the defensive specialist, the bigger, lankier guard. Then you have Whitehead, an offensive scorer who's just so quick and so crafty in the offensive game. And then on the offensive game is where Edinboro trying to get back. Foul called off the ball. And that time it's going to be Carell Green called for the offensive foul. And you can see a little bit of frustration, especially from Coach Cleary on the far side, as he's trying to plead his case for Green and try to plead his case for the team, as they thought that one of the Vulcans players was holding Green back.
As biased as it may seem, I think that might have. I thought it was going to be an illegal screen there, because I thought the feet were moved. But looks like it's going to be another foul here coming on this side of the Vulcans. It's number 22, Caden Hannah.
So offensive fouls traded from either team. And that one will go against Hannah. That's his first. And into the game for Hannah after that foul will be Cam Polak.
And again, something we need to look back on is the fouls, because if we look at the board here, 7 fouls for the Vulcans, only 3 for the Fighting Scots. This is something that's going to play a big factor coming into the final minutes of this close game.
Harper from 3. Can't get it to go. McClure going to get fouled on his way down, and you can see Coach Sankum frustrated about that one, and rightly so, because McClure took a couple of arms to his body out on his way down. That one going to go against number 24, Rashawn Barron. That'll be his 3rd and the team's 4th. So Edinboro slowly catching up to the Vulcans in terms of fouls.
And you got to keep up on who has these major fouls. I mean, number 3, Naeem Miller, has been starting most of the game. Jack Gallagher also at 3. And that's now number 24, Rashawn Barron at 3, who came off the bench.
Nice pass by Hall to find Palak, but Palak couldn't finish underneath.
We always mix up Polak and Palak. We apologize for that.
I mean, I called him Calic. I mean, he doesn't have a Calic in his hair because of how beautiful it sits there. And Harper's 3 nearly ends up hitting the shot clock, as that one just couldn't get the trajectory right on that 3-point attempt. Whitehead with a change of pace gets it to Polak in the corner. Polak, nice pass to find Whitehead for 3. And the Ton does it once again. 17 points, or no, excuse me, 13 points for him. I was looking at Palik's point total, but 71 here for Cal.
We call him the Don for a reason. He's a chief on the court. He'll score that easy bucket anytime.
Gallagher with nice footwork in the post, but can't get his shot to go. Hall does a good job of pulling in that rebound. Vulcans going once away, and Whitehead just pulls up for 3 again. I mean, that was a heat check opportunity if I've ever seen it. But Hall able to pull in the board. Polak, nice crossover move, gets it back up top to Palik, and the Vulcans reset. 12 on the shot clock here for Cal. The Vulcans need to make a move here. Whitehead takes the screen, and all sorts of confusion from the Fighting Scots. They lost the Don in the mix, and the Don scores again.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we say. He's a scorer. He's going to get in the paint. He's going to be anywhere in the court, and he's going to throw that ball right in like it's nothing. As we say, he's the Don for a reason.
Miller, nice pass underneath to find Barron, and Barron left wide open. I mean, very similar to play that we just saw on the other end, where some miscommunication on the defensive side of the ball for either team led to easy baskets.
Yeah, it's going to happen when it gets into these later parts of the game where things just seem easier, and that's going to be Eric Heath there going up for an easy 2 points for the Vulcans, putting it to a 10-point lead now.
Great pass from Polak, able to find Palik, so the Polak-Palik connection once again. So I can say that no problem.
But it's Keith Kallick to you?
Yeah, Keith Kallick. Gallagher on the drive. Gets it down underneath the Barron. Barron trying to go to work, and good defense by Palik to get in front of him, and going to catch a hand from Harper in the mix as well. So after that, the Vulcans will have the ball. That's going to be the 5th foul of the half from the Fighting Scots, and that'll send us to another media timeout. 10:22 to go here in the second half. The Vulcans with a 10-point lead. We can take a look at the PSAC West standings.
Yeah, as we went over in the first half, IUP, the #1 ranked team in the nation, sitting comfortably at #1, followed up by Mercyhurst and the University of Pitt's Johnstown. Following them is Slippery Rock, Seton Hill, and with the 6th seed in the final spot in the playoffs, the California Vulcans, followed up by Edinboro. And you see Gannon and Clarion rounding out the bottom end. It's, as we mentioned, such an important matchup here for the Vulcans, and so far, even though it's been close, I like to say that this game is very comfortable for the Vulcans. I feel like compared to the Clarion game, they've found themselves. They know what they're running. They know what they want to do. I think on defense, which is something that has been suspect all year, they still know what they want to do.
Yeah, they definitely have been a lot more astute on the defensive end in the second half, especially because we saw that first half, that first opening couple of minutes where it seemed like Green was able to knock down every single shot he took. And like we talked about, I had PTSD to Gerald Jarman on Wednesday, and I was like, man, if this is exactly like Wednesday, we're in for a long afternoon. After the ladies already lost earlier on, I was like, man, it's going to happen. But the Vulcans put a stop to that train of thought almost immediately, and have been able to wrangle control of this game here.
You know, there's something mentioned that you mentioned a little bit ago. It's about Keith Palik's hair, and it's something that, as somebody who has now recently gone bald, if some of you may know, it's something that I'm extremely jealous of. The great hairline, Keith Palik III, ice cold Keith for a reason.
It just doesn't move. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Palik with the pump fake and to work his way inside. Left his shot a little bit too short. You can see the frustration on his face because he thought he had it, but couldn't get it to go. Miller the other way for the Fighting Scots. Almost fails the handoff to Gallagher, but Gallagher able to collect. Now Green in the post working against Hall. Double team thrown his way, able to find Gallagher outside. Nice crossover move, gets it back out top to Spriggs, who pulls up with a long 2, can't get it to go. Hall pulls in the rebound.
Yeah, good defensive spacing and switching there. California not allowing absolutely anything to get there, and you're going to take a contested shot this late in the game with this defense playing like that.
Whitehead calling Polak away to get it to McClurg. Now Palik throws up the lob to Jermaine, and he can't finish. Second chance shot, no good, but the third chance can go. And I was ready to go ballistic, but Jermaine Hall finally gets it to go.
I mean, that would have been a jam city if we've ever seen one. Absolutely electric there from Jermaine Hall. The athleticism coming from him is something that we haven't seen ever since Philip Alston had left the team.
A commotion underneath the basket as Green had 2 or 3 cracks, had a chance to score, and finally it's going to end up at the line after a foul called against Cal. That one's going to go against Polak, so it's going to be his third. So Polak, McClurg, both sitting on 3 fouls. It's going to be Hall and Palik on 2. And it's going to be Carell Green at the line once again here for the Fighting Scots to try to make it a 10-point game. He's not going to be able to do so as he misses the first free throw.
Yeah, Green was really hot in the first half in the first few minutes, but as you see, he slowly started to slow down throughout the game as it's gone on. And I think definitely the Vulcans have taken great advantage of that. And honestly, I'm still not over that lob attempt from Jermaine Hall Jr.
You know, that was Jermaine's first basket in a while. Had 20 in that first half. And sitting at 24, so a little bit more of a quiet second half here for Jermaine. But you put up a first half like that, it's to be expected.
I mean, I got no complaints to you.
Oh, I mean, if you would have thrown that down, I mean, I would have liked that a lot better. But nice pass from Pallard to find Polak in the corner for three, and oh my God.
That was a bullet straight to the corner to the three-shooter or Polak. And as we mentioned, the Polak connection comes up again.
I mean, Noah Mitchell graduated. The Vulcans are looking for a new quarterback next season. Maybe Keith Pallak could throw his name in the hat for that position. As Miller takes the screen, gets switched onto Hall. It's going to be Green on McClure, which is the matchup they want. Green goes to work and can't get his shot to go, can't get the second chance to go, can't get the third chance to go. Blocked by Jermaine Hall, who sends that shot from Keys away, and the Vulcans escape.
It's as I mentioned when we were talking about blocks earlier, and I believe the first half, something that's so key is that you have these two big body forward in Keith Pallak and Jermaine Hall Jr., and they're going to get up and get those blocks, which is something that you haven't seen actually much this year, but they can get it.
Jermaine, nice pass to Cam Polak in the corner, but Polak's three a little bit short. Spriggs the other way here for the Fighting Scots, works his way inside, loses control of it, but a straight hand from the Vulcans are going to catch a foul. This one's going to go against Jermaine Hall Jr. That's going to be his third, and the Fighting Scots will shoot 1-1 after we go to this quick media timeout.
And slowly you're seeing the Vulcans start to pull away here with great offensive push after great offensive push. As we look up at the upcoming schedule, it's something that we mentioned that the Clarion game was so important. But we have to mention that this game against Edinboro, who's right behind them, is so important too. As you see, we're playing Slippery Rock on, I believe that is February 6th on a Monday coming up. Then against Gannon on Wednesday. First on Saturday, February 11th, Cedar Hill, February 19th, and then traveling up to the University of Pitt's Johnstown, February 22nd, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be an action-packed couple of weeks here for both Vulcans basketball teams, and you can keep track of all of them. You can watch all of those games here on CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Network. Thank you all very much for watching. Quick shout-out to all the fans watching, and like you said, it's going to be a rough ride for the Vulcans coming up, but they have to take it one game at a time and just try to claw their way up the standings like we talked about, sitting in sixth place right now, which would be enough for the last seed in the playoffs. So California, with a win here today, would extend that lead over the seventh place Fighting Scots to 4 games, which, like we talked about, isn't impossible for Edinboro to come back from, but it's going to be more on the California to try to flip their seeding here in the PSAC West coming playoff time.
And this upcoming schedule, it's going to say a lot about this young team, and it's definitely going to give them a lot of tests for their character and their strength and their ability to build off of wins and losses. And especially, I think that momentum swing going into the playoffs can start right here in Edinboro, Pennsylvania.
Bryce Spriggs, the 6'2 junior guard out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, went to Friends Central High School at the line to shoot 1-1. Able to knock down the first half of the 1-1.
I heard a Gary remark there that got a little chuckle out of me.
Shout out the nice band that the Fighting Scots have provided here for today. In the second half of the 1-1 missed by Spriggs. 80-67 your score, 7:45 left to go here in the second half. And there's going to be a half-court trap played by the Fighting Scots with the Vulcans. Just aware enough to get out of that time. Pallak gets it to McClurg in the corner. McClurg driving, finds Pallak again. Pallak with a full head of steam straight to the basket. And Keith Pallak with 17 on the night.
I mean, that's what he thrives on the most, is when he's able to just run through the paint and throw the ball up. And I'm going to have to upend you there. It was 18 points. I knew you saw that. Apologies, buddy.
Keys underneath, loses control of it. Going to catch a hand once again. And you can see Pallak trying to plead his case, as he's going to be the guilty party in this situation. His third foul. And that's going to be the 10th of the half for the Fighting Scots, or for California, excuse me. So it's going to be Keys at the line to shoot 2. And if there is a lifeline for the Fighting Scots to get back in this game down by 14, it's It's going to be at the line. I mean, every foul besides an offensive foul from here on out will result in 2 free throws. So this is a perfect opportunity for the Fighting Scots to get right back in it.
Yeah, and it's something you can't do if you are the Vulcans. I mean, in this tight matchup in such an important game, you can't give any ground to the team, and clearly giving up 10 fouls is not going to help.
Keys makes both. 69-82 your score. Now the half-court trap has turned into full-court pressure as Hall going to catch some contact as he received that pass just past midcourt. This one going to go against Miller. That'll be his 4th. Very, very important for the Fighting Scots to keep him in the game down the stretch. One of your best players. You don't want him to pick up his 5th, but with 7:09 left to play, looking maybe something that the Vulcans can exploit here. Whitehead receives the inbound pass. Now Palick on the far side, finds Hall inside. Nice spin move from Jermaine. What a shot by him. 26 points for Jermaine Hall Jr.
Yeah, and it's what we said earlier. When you let him get hot, he gets hot. He'll score from anywhere on the court, and he'll block anything coming towards him. And he saw that lob attempt earlier, and just inches away from being an electric dunk.
Miller from 3. Great response from the Fighting Scots. Can the Vulcans escape the pressure? And it looks like Palick nearly gets that one stolen away, and he does exactly that. Harper finishes. Palick wanted the contact, wanted the foul called, nothing called, and you can see Coach Sankum upset, and Whitehead gets trapped, but good job by him to escape the pressure. McClurg, Palick, and now Hall underneath to Palick again, and Palick gets it to go and 1.
As they say, ball don't lie. Keith Palick wasn't happy about that. He thought that was going to be a foul, and it's a quick and easy turnover, and goes on the opposite end of the court. Beautiful electric pass there from Jermaine Hall Jr. He's having himself a night too. Palick picks up the and 1.
Hall, great adjustment midair. Thought maybe he was going to go for the up and under reverse layup, but passed it off to Palick underneath. And now Keith knocks down the free throw. 21 points for him in this game.
And Keith Palick, I mean, he had a bit of a cold first half, but he's come back electric. And it's, as we always say, Keith Palick is just everything to this team. He lives and dies by the Vulcan Forge.
Such a big improvement from last season to this season as Green with the pump fake works inside. Nice dump off to Keys. And Palick gets the call he was looking for earlier on. Charge taken. That time it's going to go against Green, his 3rd. And that's going to be the 8th foul. So the Vulcans now in the bonus with 6:02 left to play.
Yeah, and that's his 3rd foul. And as we mentioned, it's foul trouble getting both teams right now as we're going to get another foul.
Another quick foul as Harper had his hands all over Whitehead. There's 9th foul from the Fighting Scots here in the half. That's Harper's 4th, so he's going to go to the bench. Gallagher going to come back in to the game, and Whitehead going to go to the line to shoot 1 and 1.
And especially for Coach Cleary, that's not what you want. 2 of your most important players going out with 5 minutes left, and you can easily stare down at that scoreboard and see 13 points and think you can get back to there. But if you're losing those 2, it's not something that looks very achievable.
Whitehead knocks down the first one. 16 points off the bench for him tonight. A huge afternoon from a lot of the members here of the Vulcan team. Whitehead, perfect. Knocks down both. 17 for him, 89 for the Vulcans. And this is a high-scoring game for both teams. The Vulcans coming into this game averaging about 77 a game, and already well surpassed that as an and 1 on the other end. Kirel Green draws the contact, finishes the shot, and has the chance at a 3-point play.
It's what I mentioned when we started off during pregame. Kirel Green is the guy you want to look out for, and even though he might have had a bit of a cold stretch going on between the first and the second, he's someone who can easily heat up with his length and his size, and he's someone that going into the later minutes of the game, you don't want to give him any chances or any opportunities.
Makes the free throw as well. 12-point game, so maybe a little bit closer. It's something that the Vulcans have to be wary of down the stretch. And the Fighting Scots still playing this full pressure. Foul going to be called, and KJ McClure will go to the line to shoot 2. I know our producer Gary is maybe worried a little bit. He has his favorite thing is if any one of the teams scores over 100 points, he is going to treat that team to some milkshakes. We talked about this earlier on the week with Coach Sankum, so I think they may be playing for something here.
I mean, yeah, we're now within 10 points of that, and
got 5 minutes left.
As we all know, this is the second best offensive team in the PSAC for a reason. Everybody on this team can get hot, and when they do get hot, they get hot. Jermaine Hall Jr. sitting on the night with, I believe, 26 points, and Keith Palak with 21, and I believe that's now Donald Whitehead, the Hermitage native, with 17.
And then McClurg with 19, so a couple of Vulcans already surpassed the 20-point mark, and 2 more on the precipice of passing that one as well. Green with a deep 3, can't get it to go. Thought maybe there was going to be a foul called, and you can see the frustration from Green trying to receive a ref from the ref an explanation of why that wasn't a foul.
Palak giving the ref the J.R. Smith treatment, gave him the arms out, confused because he thought that was definitely a call towards him. It looks like the referee is going to give a talk to Caden Hanna.
And Hanna had his arms on Green, and Green had his arms on Hanna. There was some mutual pushing away, so the referee came in and stopped the altercation before it happened. Miller takes the screen, working his way inside. Needs to find some help, able to find Gallagher. Gallagher runs into a wall, trying to get it inside the Keys, and Gallagher loses control of it. The Vulcans able to get another steal.
Yeah, and it's something that's normally this year not been so sound has been the defense. I mean, going up against this team that in lengthwise is much bigger than the Vulcans, with the presences of Keys and Miller in the paint, and they've been able to handle this very well.
Whitehead just wasting some clock, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Whitehead works inside, finds Hanna, who decides to pull up from 3, and Hanna's 3 way off the mark.
And something he's not much known for is that shot, but he can make it if he's left open.
Miller with the moving 3-point shot. That won't go, but a nice attempt to try to get the offensive board from Spriggs. But Hanna's going to foul, and now Spriggs and Palak have some words for each other. And you can see the Vulcan bench just trying to get Palak away from that altercation. We've seen Palak get a lot more fiery, especially over the last couple of games, maybe 6-7 games for Palak, where he seemed to be chirping a lot more, and now the referee is sitting there discussing what to do.
Yeah, it seems like he's almost maybe picked up that energy from Coach Sankum, where you see he's very passionate and he'll contest anything that's put towards him. But I think that's really a good quality, because it shows that you won't back down from anything, especially as a younger player. When you're looking at a larger lead, you want to have that energy and that momentum and that mentality to want to back down anybody who's ahead of you.
So a double foul is called. One is going to be on number 15, Bryce Spriggs. One going to be on number 22, Caden Hanna. And then Bryce Spriggs is also in that mix, going to pick up a technical foul.
It's something that we've seen all game, is it's the fouls. And earlier it was 5-10 for the Fighting Scots, and quickly that's now gone to 10-10, and it's going to be Hanna shooting those free throws. It looks like they're actually going to go back to the pen because it was offsetting technical foul, so it's just going to be a regular shot.
Yeah, Hanna, who got that foul, will shoot for 2 here, as he had that foul in the open court. Knocks down the first one, and like you said, I believe Hanna also picked up a technical in that mix, so his technical and then the technical from Spriggs cancel each other out. So only the 2 free throw attempts from Hanna makes the first one, misses the second. 92-77 your score, with under 4.5 to play in the second half. Gallagher gets it to Green in the post, pass it off to Miller. Miller gets switched on to Hanna. Green on McClurg. Miller decides to shoot a deep 3. That shot won't go. And Keys comes down with the board, rips that one away from Palak. Miller inside in the post, gets it off to Gallagher. Gallagher working, twisting, turning, trying to find an angle. It's going to be Spriggs from 3, and Spriggs knocks it down. A 12-point game with under 4 to play.
Yeah, and you don't want that energy and momentum to start shifting, especially with 3:52 left in the game. This is still open for anybody, especially with a small lead like 12.
The Vulcans breaking this full court pressure, just slowing things down. Every second super important, just wasting as much of that precious clock as possible. As Whitehead now at 10 seconds on the shot clock, waiting to make his move, finds Palak for 3, and Keith Palak does it again. 24 on the night for him.
Ice cold Keith. He won't stand down to anybody. Easily switches that in. And as we mentioned, that 3-point shot from Palak, something very underrated about his skill set, and something I think that we really should talk about more in the PSAC.
Ice cold Keith does it again. Gallagher and the Fighting Scots respond. Green in the corner, going baseline. Great move from Green, but can't get the finish. Gets his own rebound and decides to just throw it down.
You sounded curious about that one.
And he had the lane on the first attempt, went for the layup. He was like, all right, I'm just going to dunk it since I missed.
I mean, when you're that big, I don't see why not.
Yeah, 6'8". I mean, he's just.
Why can't I be that?
Not only is he that tall, he just has such long arms as well.
Yeah, he's got that Giannis link.
Whitehead just slowly wasting all of the time off the clock. Gets it to Hannah. Now Polak, 4 seconds, so needs to get a shot off quickly. Floater from Polak, no good. And the ball ends up in the hands of Green. Green springs the fast break quickly as Miller going the other way, loses control of it. Good hands from McClurg, but there's going to be a whistle blown. I believe the Vulcans stepped out of bounds after they got the ball, and you can see Coach Sankum not happy about that at all.
Yeah, the Vulcans are going to go back to the bench for, I think, is going to be timeout there, and Coach Sankum, he's passionate as ever, and he has to be real careful there.
We saw a lot of technicals in that first game today between Edinboro and California in the women's game, and we've already seen 2 here in this one, so Coach Sankum might count his lucky stars that he doesn't pick one up himself. But while we have a second, we can take a look at the upcoming schedule here for men's basketball once again. Like you talked about already, a tough road ahead for the Vulcans. Obviously, the game here today against the Fighting Scots before a 2-game homestand during the week. Monday against the Rock of Slippery Rock, and then on Wednesday against the Golden Knights of Gannon before they travel back up here to Erie once again to face off the Mercyhurst Lakers. So the next week, a 2-game split as they'll face off against Seton Hill on Monday, I believe, and then on Wednesday will be away at the University of Pitt Johnstown. So a tough stretch of games for the Vulcans. A lot on their plate and a lot on the line here in terms of standing.
Sorry, they had a little bit of a sass battle with our producer here, Gary Smith, and it's been a good day, John, has it not? It's been a good game for the Vulcans, I think.
Oh, I've really enjoyed myself. I mean, it was not the greatest car ride up here, and I'm not looking forward to the drive back, but I'm looking forward to going to sleep in my bed as soon as we get back home.
That's true. By the time we get back down to beautiful California, Pennsylvania, and you get back to beautiful Ritchieville, Pennsylvania, it'll be around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. So
I don't think anyone would describe Ritchieville as beautiful. I definitely wouldn't. So get back underway. 2:20 left to go in the second half. Can the Fighting Scots make the end of the game a lot more interesting?
And Hannah, late game mistake you don't want to make. Gets his hand in there way too hard. And as you see, he's just going for the steal, and that's something that as any player you want to do, but too much strength in there. He's going to draw another foul, and along with that technical, actually I believe it's going to go against Donald Whitehead Jr.
That's the man next to me, Jonathan Sakaguchi, says got his hand caught in the cookie jar that time. Gallagher going to the line, knocks down the first free throw. Jermaine Hall Jr. going to come back into the game. It's going to be 11 points on the afternoon for Gallagher. There's a 12-point deficit here for the Fighting Scots as a substitution is made. Green going to go out of the game. Into the game will be number 12, Ryan Ladovich. Will come back into the game once again, and another substitution is made as well as Miller going to go out of the game, into the game for the Fighting Scots will be a number that I cannot see. Actually, it's 33, Logan Donahue, his first appearance of the game as Gallagher makes the second.
And I mean, I guess it's just precautionary measures since we're this late in the game, and 2:10 left. The Vulcans easily break that full court trap, and that's going to be a quick foul there from the incoming number 33, Donahue.
And maybe that was the plan the whole time as Green and Miller right back up to the scores table. They know they have the fouls to burn, so just get Donahue in there. The junior guard, the 6-foot junior guard from Edinboro, Pennsylvania, went to General McLean High School, came in there, did his purpose, got the quick foul. We'll send KJ McClurg to the line. 19 points on the afternoon for him. Has a chance to get to 20 as well. Will join the likes of Hall, who's sitting on 26, and Palick sitting on 24, and now McClurg sitting on 20. So 3 20-point scores here for the Vulcans tonight. Not something we see a whole lot.
No, but it's, as we mentioned, it's the offensive ability of this team. It's so special and unique when it comes to the PSAC, where it's not just one player can go off on any given night. You don't have one star offensive player. On almost any given night, you have 5 or 6, and it's something that this team just lives and dies on, is on the offensive side of the ball. And if you think that coming into next year and even into the tournament that you grow a bit more defensively as a team, this is a very dangerous squad to look at.
Absolutely. As Hannah comes back into the game for Hall, blackjack for McClurg at 21. There's going to be a travel called underneath, and it's just been that type of day for the Fighting Scots as Miller trying to just stop his momentum and unable to do so. Hall comes back in. He's sitting on 4 fouls, so Vulcan subbed him out for that precautionary measure. Doesn't want Jermaine to get that 5th foul on the defensive side of the ball. McClurg to inbound, nearly gets that one stolen away as he was trying to find Palick. Good hands by Gallagher to poke it out.
Yeah, it's what happened last time. They have the fouls to burn, but their bench players is Mr. John dropped something there, and they're going to burn those fouls. I mean, you're going to get them to the line. You're going to get an opportunity to score as quick as you can. As I've now just realized, we've now fit, both of us have fit in Jonathan Sakaguchi quotes. I fit in Jam City, and you got caught in the cookie jar.
And there's going to be a turnover. Good press by the Fighting Scots to force that turnover. Gallagher, or excuse me, Donu thought about the shot. Nice pass underneath to find Keys, and Keys able to get it to go. Cuts it to 11 with just under 2 to play. A lot more interesting. McClurg able to find Polak. Polak went for the reverse layup and fell hard to the ground. I applaud the effort from Cam Polak, but he's going to go to the line to shoot 2. That's going to be the 4th foul from Dominique Keys.
And it's been the biggest thing here in the second quarter has just been those fouls, and it's something that as a team has held them back. And even though they're now down to 11 points within that deficit, it's still not a good thing to look at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 timeouts left on the side of the Vulcans as Polak misses the first free throw, and 2 timeouts left on the side of the Fighting Scots. So maybe we'll see 1 or 2 of them at least down the stretch here from either team just to try to talk out the logistics of what will go on in the last 133. DJ Slaughter, who we haven't seen pretty much at all in the second half, will go to the scores table as Polak makes the free throw, and he's going to come out of the game. Slaughter to come in to replace him. And like we talked about, the defensive specialist Slaughter is going to come in and just try to lock it down.
I mean, yeah, they took him out also as precautionary measure. Donald Whitehead Jr. has been playing amazing this game, so you really don't want to keep him out. And amazing 3 there from Green. Wow, that's going to really change momentum here as it's now cut down to single points with 9.
And Green with the deep 3. The timeout called by the Fighting Scots. 1:25 to play. 98-89 your score.
It's 24 points now on the night for Green, and it's something that we saw early in the first half was that he took those heat check 3s, and even from deep, he's been electric, and it's something that late in this game the Scots need.
Yeah, it's 24 points for him in today's game. Like he talked about in the last time that these two teams faced off against each other, Green had another fantastic night. So definitely has the Vulcans number, but the rest of the Fighting Scots in general just have not been at that level here today, besides Dominique Keys, who also has 20 points. So what is that, 5 20-point scores in this game, which is absurd for a college game especially.
I mean, hey, you love to see that offense here. It's always fun seeing those buckets. We saw a few dunks here tonight, and you see Cam Pollock comes back in.
Nice pass from Hall. Just the nice football lob to find Whitehead. Nearly gets that one poked away, but they wanted the over and back call, but the ball was punched out, and Pollock was right there to recover. A foul called on the back end, and the frustration from the Fighting Scots is building, but I believe the referee has made the right call. Whitehead had the ball, got it punched away by a member of the Fighting Scots into the backcourt, and Polak was right there to pick it up.
And that's why he's in here late in this game. I mean, he's going to draw those fouls, and they're going to get the ball to him because he leads the team in not 3-point percentage, but in the free throw department with 85%. Very electric there from Polak with 98 points to an 89 deficit here for the Fighting Scots. What do you think, John? Do you think it's possible?
I mean, it's possible, but we're at a 99%er here as Polak makes both 100 points here for the Vulcans, something that we've only seen once so far in this season, where they scored 102 against the struggling West Virginia Westland earlier on in the season. Can the Vulcans surpass that total here today down the stretch? Beautiful spin move by Miller, but can't get the shot to go. Keys offensive board, gets the N1. 9-point game. could be 8 if he's able to make the free throw. And, I mean, you asked me, is it possible? 8-point game with a minute left. If they're able to force a couple turnovers, I mean, anything's possible.
I mean, you mentioned that West Virginia Wesleyan game. That was a strong offensive outing from them where you saw most of the bench play. And fun fact, that was the first game I called with you, Mr. Jonathan Sapin.
It was.
We're right back here in Edinboro together, and we're watching this second matchup here between these two. And it's going to be another personnel fouling. That may be on number 22, Green.
Yeah, Keys misses the free throw, which is super crucial as it allowed California to waste a couple seconds off the clock, and it forced the Fighting Scots to make another foul. That'll send Jermaine Hall Jr. to the line to add to his point total on the afternoon. 26 for him, and has the chance to push the Vulcans even further in the point category. 9-point lead for Cal with 1:01 to play. Hall can send the lead back to double digits, and he does so as he knocks down the first. 27 for him.
And you can never say that this Vulcans team doesn't give you any energy and any fun. I mean, this is just such a fun team to watch. 101 points, you rarely see that in college. And, I mean, this is almost an NBA-like score, and especially on the Division II level. It's very rare, but you love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Hall misses the second. And you saw with the grin on his face, maybe intentionally just to try to waste some more time off the clock. Nice behind-the-back move from Miller, trying to get to the lane, gets it to go, plus the foul again. Another three-point play opportunity here for Naeem Miller. 8-point game, can make it 7. I mean, are we really thinking about this? This is exactly like the end of the game against Clarion as it was coming down to the wire. The Vulcans had some chances to come back into it.
Yeah, and you're looking at the same thing from Edinboro, and I mean, it's the sister Penn West school connection, and got to give credit to Coach Cleary. I mean, he's had some very smart calls here with going back to 2 minutes left. He brought in his bench players to get those fouls in because they were already there at the double bonus. So you're going to send them to the line and give your chances to score. And as you see right now with the score, I mean, it's down to single digits, and it's looking scary for the Vulcan faithful.
The lead's down to 7. Polak looking for some help. They wanted the travel call, but nothing. It's going to go the way of the Fighting Scots. McClurg tried to pass it off to Polak, but gets that one stolen away. And a fight for it in the open court. Whistle blown. They're going to call a foul. And thought maybe that Polak may have forced a jump ball, but going to see the official call. It's going to be a foul against Polak, his 4th. And that'll send Gallagher to the line to shoot 2. 7-point game could be cut down to 5 if he's able to knock down both.
Yeah, and I don't blame Cam at all for that. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to tie up that ball and prevent that scoring opportunity. And if I were him, I probably would have just let those easy 2 points go in because now you're sending them to the free throw line, and he picks up a foul of his own, which is something you can't do this late in the game when they're staring down almost a 6-point deficit now.
4 of the 5 Vulcans on the court sitting on 4 fouls. The only one not is Donald Whitehead as Gallagher misses the second one. And great rebound by Palak forces a foul to come out of the hands of the Fighting Scots. And Keith Palak once again will make his way back down to the free throw line on the other end.
And you're seeing this deficit come closer and closer, and you're starting to feel it now, especially me. I'm starting to feel it. The tides have shifted, and Vulcans can score those free throws, and it can lower that deficit again, but it's still scary.
This is where they made their money tonight, is at the free throw line. As Palak knocks down the first one. 25 points for him, trying to catch up to Jermaine. He's going to be one shy as he knocks down the second one, and it looks like Coach Sankum and the Vulcans are going to take a timeout. 37.9 left to play here in the second half. California up by 8, 103-95. And like he just said, the lead, even though it's 8 points, even though it seems like a lot with less than 40 in the game, it seems a lot more close for comfort than what you would expect when you're scoring 103 points.
Yeah, and Keith Palak, as we've been calling him Ice Cold Keith, he's trying to ice the game now, and you're seeing it go back and forth, almost down to an 8-point deficit now. And I mean, this is coming down to the wire here in Edinboro, Pennsylvania, between these two sister schools. Some almost not contrast, but similarity to what we saw in the women's game, where down in the final minute or two, it was extremely close, and it just came down to late game fouls.
After that timeout, waiting to see what both teams have cooked up in that 30-second timeout. It's going to be the full length of the court that the Fighting Scots need to go to try to get another shot off It's going to be Harper on the inbound here for Edinboro. Gets it in to Miller. Miller accelerating to the other end. Nice crossover move. Contested mid-range jumper for him. Can't get it to go. But an offensive board by Keys, and Keys gets the basket to go. Timeout called by Edinboro. 26.6, 6-point game, 103-97.
And Coach Cleary barking orders because he knows what this game is at. The Edinboro native himself went to the Edinboro University, and he's looking at this lead, and he wants it. 26 seconds left. I think it's very doable if you're Clarion. It's very close and very scary for the Vulcans, as I've mentioned previously like 4 times now.
And there's a chance in this game. I don't have the numbers in front of me. How many times? That's the best way I can word it there, because it took me a minute in the brain to think about it. How many times have there been 2 teams to score 100-plus points in a college basketball game?
At this level, I could not tell you, but
because we're on the verge, 103-97. It's very possible that Edinboro can score a few more baskets to surpass that 100-point mark.
And looking at the score sheet, fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the highest point mark that the Vulcans have scored this year, 103, surpassing what they had at our first game together, West Virginia Wesleyan out 102, and that almost 40-point win there. As you see the contrast here with this is not a 40-point win.
This is not a 40-point win. This is a combined 200-point thriller.
This is not
down
even
to
a
the
win
wire.
Yet. Not even a win yet.
Can't.
Anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen, till that last buzzer goes.
Cannot rule out the possibility of a comeback yet, but Polak receives the inbound pass, and Edinboro just trying to foul anyone, but the Vulcans wasting so much of that precious time just making their way down the court. Great job by them at just passing the ball, getting it away from the Edinboro defenders, and wasting as much time on the clock. After that, Polak going to go to line to shoot 2, and they're only down to 19.4.
Yeah, and this almost harkens me back to District 11 title game out of high school that I had last year, where the possible Crimson Tide shout out back home to them. Roll Tide. They won against, I believe it was Northwestern or Northeastern Lehigh for the District 11 title. And I remember in those final minute, it was just genius ball movement where they're just able to kill as much time on the clock as possible. And you're seeing that definitely now from the Vulcans. They're throwing the ball around so much and using their impressive ball movement and length and getting the ball down the court.
Polak makes the second. Brings the lead back to 7, and the Vulcans are going to take their second, or they're going to take another timeout. Have 1 remaining with 19.4 to play. Looks like Slaughter going to come back into the game, and like you said, I kind of wish I don't have that luxury of watching my Bulldogs.
Hey, shout out Beth Center.
Shout
we
out
love the
Beth
Bulldogs.
Center. Don't have the luxury of them advancing that far in the basketball category. I think we got 1 win this year. So we're cooking.
Hey, 1 win is more than 0.
That is absolutely true. You're right.
That's basic math. we enjoy ourselves here.
Yeah,
in
we
CTV,
have fun.
Don't we?
We have fun.
You know who else has fun?
Who's
Safe.
that?
On Safe on the Street. She can also find on CTV Sports 1. Fun factoid.
Back underway. It's a mountain of a task for the Fighting Scots to climb. Can they do it? Miller on the drive inside. Shot high off the glass, no good. Second chance shot, no good. Palick finally able to pull in the rebound. Foul called.
And again, you're looking at that. They killed more clock. I believe it was at 16 when the clock first started, and now we're back down to 8. And leads and this deficit slowly just starting to pull away from the Edinboro Fighting Scots. And
yeah, I mean the game's all but over. Palick has a chance to put the icing on the cake here for Cal on a great bounce-back game after those 2 tough losses in a row as he knocks down the first.
Actually, speaking of, streaks, this is what this team has been. It's been streaky all year. The Vulcans were on a 2-game winning streak earlier in January where they won games against Edinboro and Gien and then lost against Hearst and Indiana, went on to win against Seton Hill and Mansfield, and now have gone on a 2-game losing streak.
Green from 3, no good. Palick secures the rebound. And the clock winds to 0. Your Vulcans bounce back. Any final words, Nate, after this big win?
Great teamwork, great defensive effort. They really worked on what they failed on in the Clarion game, and got to commend them.
The final score here in the McComb Fieldhouse, California 106, Edinboro 97. From everyone here at CUTV, from our producers Gary Smith and Tom Caden, from my broadcast partner Nate Kurtz, I'm Jonathan Safe. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys on Monday here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, the PSAC Network, and 91.9 FM, the Vulcan Sports Radio Network.